kind of think about those attributes for just a minute. It's almost overwhelming, isn't it? Just one after another. He says he's the image of the invisible God. So Christians historically have believed God is spirit, God the Father is spirit. No human eyes ever seen God. So how can an invisible God be perceived or known? Paul says through Jesus Christ, that the invisible became visible, the metaphysical became physical, the intangible became tangible in Christ, that he took on human flesh, and therefore he is the icon or the image of the invisible God. Hebrews chapter 1 verse 3 is another example of this. It says that he is the radiance of the glory of God and the exact imprint of his nature. So everything that God is, Jesus is in human form. So if you want to know what God's like, then just look at Jesus. You want to know how God would respond to the relationship problems that you're facing, then look at how Jesus would respond to the relationship problems that you're having. You want to know how God would relate to injustice in the world, then look at how Jesus related to injustice, how he would react to religious people who are very mean and hypocritical, then look at how Jesus reacted to religious people who are mean and hypocritical. Jesus is in visible form everything that God is who is invisible. He's the image of the invisible God. Now, the Bible also says that you and me are created in the image of God. Genesis chapter 1, verse 26, God said, let us make man in our image. And all that means is that you and I, as human beings, we're not exactly like other animals. I know that may, we're different in ways that are unique. So you never see a monkey down on his knees worshiping God. He may be asking for some raisins or some nuts, but he's not actually worshiping a deity. You don't see reasoning faculties like you see in human beings, the ability to philosophize. You don't see that in the animal kingdom, at least as far as we can tell. Relational kinds of virtues that human beings have, you don't see necessarily in the animal kingdom. There is this sense in which human beings, as being created in God's image, that there is something that sets us apart from the rest of the animal kingdom. That's why God said in Genesis chapter 1, rule the earth and have dominion over them. You're in my image. You're going to be like me in the earth in some ways. Now, there's a lot of ways that we're not like God. So just because we're created in the image of God does not mean we are the image of God. And what Paul is saying here is not that Jesus is created in the image of God like you and me, but that he is the image of God. We represent God in some ways, reasoning, relationships, love, compassion. Jesus reflects the exact representation of God in every single way. He is the image of God.